usually pride myself in being up to date on book to movie adaptations. So imagine my surprise when I'm scrolling along and I see a trailer for the Odyssey pop up and I had no idea it was being made. Imagine my stronger surprise when Tom Holland pops up on that trailer and I had no idea that this movie was being made. Anyway, one of the books on my TBR is to read the Odyssey. I read it a long time ago as a little baby 7th grader in English class. It's been a very long time since then, and I want to reread it before we go into this movie. I also want to watch the trailer together. I've watched it once through. Let me know if you've read the Odyssey. I sort of assume that most people end up reading it at some point in their school career. I remember liking it. I think that has mostly to do with the teacher that I had at the time who did a really good job explaining the Odyssey to a bunch of 12-year-olds. And obviously, like, it is, you know, Greek mythology, so like every other person ever, I feel like we all have a slight obsession with Greek mythology anyway, so that does help with wanting to reread an epic. If you also plan to read the Odyssey before the movie comes out, please let me know. I would love to not go on that journey alone. Anyway, we're gonna do what we normally do when we look at a movie trailer. We're gonna go into the computer. We'll watch the trailer all the way through. I'll probably talk a little bit during that because copyright issues, but after that we'll go through and pause and really like dissect little things that we see in the trailer. So let's go into the computer. This is directed by Christopher Nolan, by the way. Inception and all that.
After years of war.
So that's Odysseus.
No one could stand between my men. And home.
There's Tom Holland. And Anne Hathaway.
Not even me.
So this is probably the cave. Yeah, the Cyclops. I don't remember that part. Is that like Charybdis?
You will come back. What if I can't?
Okay, let's go back. When this popped up on my feed, I wish I could have explained the clarity with which this is filmed. I'm getting too accustomed to seeing like AI stuff on my feed because I genuinely thought for a second that this was just like an AI generated video. For how like perfect the lighting is, I think, is probably what sort of threw me off a little. See, and that, it just, for a second, it doesn't look real.
No one could stand between my men. And home.
Except for literally everything. I think somebody had mapped it out. They were like, the entire Odyssey, it takes them like 10 years to get home, but it was like a 10-day journey or something like that. It's not far. And there's Tom Holland playing Odysseus's son, Telemachus, the poor guy who's having to watch his like family home constantly being overrun with suitors for his mother Penelope because they're constantly throwing those like massive parties and stuff. And the reason that she's allowing that is because she's like holding on to the house of Odysseus. She's the thing standing between another man coming in and taking over this house and Odysseus coming home, because everyone's basically telling Penelope Odysseus is not coming back, and she believes that he's coming back, and she's trying to like prolong the process of that for so long because it's her home. So the only way that she can stay in it after a certain amount of time is if she marries somebody and it's like a peaceful transfer as opposed to somebody coming in and taking it, is my understanding of how that works. And his son the entire time is having to like deal with all these suitors coming into the house. I'm not sure how old he is in the book. I pictured him super young, like obviously Tom Holland's in his 20s. In this society, I guess not old enough to be considered the man of the house. So Anne Hathaway has to be Penelope. I really loved how I love the silhouette of this. So I wasn't sure exactly what was happening. So did somebody get killed in this? Is that the Trojan horse? Do we get to see that in this? Because I don't think that actually happens in the Odyssey. I can't remember. Maybe if it got stabbed through. Is that a knife? Because when I first saw this, like on my tiny little screen, I didn't see this this shiny thing. I thought that this was from the scene of them plugging their ears so that only Odysseus can hear the siren. And I was wondering if this guy accidentally hears the sirens and is trying to jump out of the boat or whatever. Because I'm pretty sure they all had like beeswax in their ears, and Odysseus didn't because he wanted to hear the sirens. But for that to happen, they have to tie him up or else he's going to try and like jump out of the boat. So this is the Cyclops cage. Interested to see how they do that. If you have read it or you've read Percy Jackson, then you know that Odysseus blinds this Cyclops by like, I think he throws a spear in his eye or something. And to escape this cave, he and his men hold on to the sheep and like the underbelly of the sheep. And when the Cyclops calls out for help from other Cyclopses, Odysseus told the Cyclops that his name was no one or nobody. And so as they're escaping, the Cyclops calls out, nobody is escaping, nobody is killing me. And so it's like kind of like a play on words a little bit there. However, for the first like couple days they're in there, I think the Cyclops eats a couple of his men. Like every day he's gonna eat someone, something like that. I don't remember what this part is. I do not remember any type of warriors being summoned out of the ground. And then this part, I know that they go through some like really stormy seas because Odysseus at one point, he is basically being held hostage by a goddess and she's keeping him as like her lover on the island. And when he leaves, I think at one point he manages to convince her to let him go. And then when she actually does, she ends up like stirring up the waves or something because she wants him back. I'm pretty sure that's right. I can't remember if her name's Charybdis or not. For some reason that's standing out to me though.
Promise me you will come back. What if I can't?
That's so sad. This movie's gonna be so good. I love how they did the audio at the end of this because it sounds like that song that went viral on TikTok for the North Sea a while back. And it's like that really deep, like it makes every video of the ocean look 10 times scarier. And already the North Sea is very scary. Coming out in July. Okay, so to me, that looks like it's gonna be an amazing movie. However, I didn't see Zendaya in it. And I'd been talking to a friend recently about like how excited I was that this movie was coming out and how excited I was that Tom Holland was going to be in the movie. And then she was like, yeah, and Zendaya's going to be in it too. And I freaked out because I love them together as a couple. I think they're adorable. I didn't see Zendaya in that. So maybe there's like another trailer or something that I haven't seen yet. Or there were pictures from behind the scenes or something. But I don't know what role Zendaya would be. She could be one of the goddesses. Odysseus does run into like a younger girl at one point. Like when he's shipwrecked on her father's island. I don't know. It's been a really long time since I've read the book. But I do remember a character like that. If you are also going to reread or you want me to talk about the book when I do finally finish it, because it is quite lengthy, let me know. I don't think I'll do like a full scholarly review the way that a lot of other YouTube videos are, but if you just want like an overview and a little gossip about the characters, I think that could be really fun. Let me know what scene you're most excited to see. I think I'm most excited to see the Cyclops. That's what I remember the most, I think, from reading it, especially so long ago. I feel like the ending scene, if you know how the story ends, gonna be a little gross. Either the Cyclops or the scene with the sirens. I think that's gonna be really cool. I think they have the opportunity to make that part really creepy. And not in a necessarily super scary way, but just like weird and cool. But if you have a scene or a stop along the way, because there were many, that you're excited to see, let me know in the comments. Please like this video if you liked it, click subscribe if you want to talk about more book stuff and or more about this movie, because I'm sure I'll talk about it after it comes out, because I am really excited to see it. My name's Katelyn, thanks for watching. Bye.